This is your daily market review for Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Well, Nvidia's earnings came out after our close. Got a lot to talk about. Market chopping around. Definitely some divergences in what's been leading up and what's not. Got a lot to talk about. Strap in, grab a cold drink, grab a coffee, and let's dig into it. If you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. I appreciate it. So we got Nvidia's earnings. Again, anyone surprised they're up and great? No, not at all. So, but the key is, this is what I'm watching for. This 10-for-1 split effective June 7th. Monster splits are usually the tops. They're usually the momentum breakers of a up move. Why? Well, think about it. In reality, Berkshire Hathaway is great. They don't do big splits, right? Good stocks don't do them because once you dilute the stock by dividing by 10, you're always going to have people go, well, maybe I'll just sell half, a quarter, a third of those shares because they want certain round numbers. They want to do certain things. And again, you're like, what are you talking about? I'm just telling you, go look at the past. Big splits have always happened at the tops in momentum names, so I would not be surprised if this is possible. Near term, well, let's check out the charts and we'll go from there. Follow on Twitter, always posting what we got going on. If you need help, use the Calendly link. Also check out the website, tradingagent.com, all sorts of fun videos, Twitter posts, recommended reading. Get your markets 5.5%, and let me know how I can help you. Follow, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell again. All these back to basic stuff, everything here is on my website or the YouTube. Okay, Fed Watch. We know, again, I'll refresh it. The first rate cut is not until September potentially. And the only way that's going to change is if things get worse. And again, we've talked about the economy slowing. There's so many red flags. But this is why we talk about the stock market is not always the economy, and you have to be careful. You have to define your risk. You have to have stops. You have to be willing to admit that you're wrong and do things in a way that, well, hey, define your risk. Define your risk. So anyway, all right, Bitcoin hits the 71,000. Yeah, keep it easy. Oil, chopping around. Again, when I say keep it easy, just watch your zones, right? Oil, chop around. Natty gas, holding up. Again, as we've talked about, love this trade long term. There's not much downside below $1.50, but that's what it is. Keep an eye on it. Oh, good old, where are we at? So I have Nvidia's chart open. It's up near 986. It's above the old highs. Watch what happens. It needs to really clear over 975 tomorrow. Close over it. We'll get into it more here in a second. Dollar chopping around. Looks like it's flagging after a big up move. Keep an eye on it. Dollar up. I'm not really sure up or down is really good or bad. The market crashes. I think the dollar will drop, but who knows? Could it go up? Because the world is also a crappy place to invest in right now. TLT holding above this kind of channel. Again, you could draw it so many ways now. This is what I always tell people. It's not a perfect science, right? You want to, we sometimes create zones for trend lines. Here you go. There's million ways to skin the cat, right? I don't know. You're guessing again. Sometimes I'll do a box. Just watch it. It seems to be hovering. 200-day, rather important. Let's keep that in mind. VIX. Getting wide and loose down here. We talked about it, man. It's pretty low to hedge. Pretty cheap to hedge. SPY. Multi-day chop range. Go with. That's all you really can do. QQQ. Broke out to new highs. Doji today, again, the volumes are just, look at them. They're just like exacerbated. There's just no conviction either way. But this is where sometimes you don't fight it. You got to let it play out. Just know it seems more trappish when there's no volume. IWM, lower high, filling the gap. DIA has been holding up well for the most part. Coming back up into the highs, now getting back under it. Just worth a watch. Gold. This is where it gets interesting. Because again, everyone's like, oh, you got to do it. You got it. Now it looks like a double top. Professional gap. Decent size volume. Is it going to chop around? Again, long term, love it. Disappear. Near term, same thing like silver, like, oh, this is going to get sloppy and choppy, in my opinion. We talked about the doji and then the lack of follow through needed to get over 29.50. Rutro Raggy, GDX. Here you go. Gap down, man. You got to hold 35. If it fails 35, this thing could get thrashed. GDXJ, yeah, closed right near the highs from the reference from April. I don't like those gaps. But again, you need to start chopping or basing or it's going to be long gone. Silver. Hey, AEM, gap down. AG, we talked about this not acting right, making lower highs. Well, there you go. The Newmont comes back up into the range highs. Better hold the 20-day. Reggie, pass. New highs, but chopping around. As we've said, the thing about you have to remember about miners, the market slips, they will get slapped, whatever you want to call it. TSM, interesting gap today. Was watching it. We'll see what happens. It's what 158 after the hours. Man, you got some references. Micron, chopping around the highs. Not much. I mean, just watch these references. AMZN been a sloppy blackguard. 100-day clearly is resistance. Really good reference point. Nvidia currently 981. This is the way I would trade it. On the gap up tomorrow, if the IB is incredibly high, sell out of the money cover calls. That's the easiest trade to me. Let the IB come in. Whatever. The higher the price it opens at, the better, in my opinion, to sell out of the money calls. If we don't really end up anywhere, it might be one of those things where might need a couple days. You're waiting for extremes. Does that make sense? Because I think the short is coming. It's just where. Like, don't sit here and go, well, I know it's going to be this price at that time, at that day. Just let it play out. SMCI pops, giving it back. I'd be watching for the 100-day and the old trend line there. Intel, people got really giddy about this thing, and I'm like, okay. We talked about it being oversold, bouncing. If you're listening to this channel and you're paying attention, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but this thing's a turd. Turds, yeah, float sometimes. How high? Your guess is as good as mine, but I would not be buying Intel with anyone's money. I'm on record. Like I said, not saying it can't bounce. I just don't know why you'd... pick any stock in the world, and that's what you choose. SMH, chopping around the high. A little doji today on bigger volume. Keep an eye on it, right? Adobe, we talked about this name, chopping. All good. Apple. Short, delicious. Again, we know people are selling. Buffett, they're all dumping. Yeah, great. Buy back their stock, of course, to investors who can dump into them. Just watch the levels. Define your risk. Amazon, I don't think there's upside in Apple. Little double top trap. Watching the 20-day. Meta seems to be stuck. Watch these levels. Again, as long as the market holds up, these names don't necessarily have to do anything. CRM, 100-day. Google had been holding up pretty well, making new highs. Could this be a pivot point? Just worth watching. Mr. Softy, Microsoft, chop. New highs, dojis again. It's perpetual pain trade, meaning like they don't make it easy. NDAQ we talked about, I think is amazing short in the mid-60s. MicroStrategy, what do we say? Don't be surprised if it fills the gap and gets a little sloppy. There you go. There we go. Keep an eye on it. Netflix makes new highs, gets over them, see if there's follow through. If there's no follow through, it could be a trap. That's some of the best trades is when you break out or break down and it's wrong and it just flips the other way. Roblox. We like this long term. I struggle near term with what to do with it. Just watch it if you really want to. Pan W, gap down on earnings. We talked about this is Pelosi's favorite trade. I'm not going to go short this. I would just let it pull back. Tesla, nice pop to the 100-day. Again, gaps down today, giving it back. Man, clearly the 100-day is your start-finish line. If it gets over it, be excited. If it doesn't, yikes. DKNG, finally. This is what we're looking for. Here you go. Here, we talk about traps. We make a new high and then give it all back. Chop. Here's your reference. Oh, nope. Oh, everything's great. Novice gap. Oh God, it's going to 100. Now you better hold the 100-day. Excuse my sounds, but that's the reality. Airbnb, gaps down. not looking good. Costco, holding up. Got to give it credit. Starbucks. Yeah, we talked again. This one to me had more upside, say like an Intel. Starbucks goes 107 to 72. We talked about the gap down. Talked about, man, it could, we finished it out. We said, could you fill the gaps? Chop around. This thing's been absolutely bludgeoned. We'll see. Again, dead cats bounce. FedEx. This thing's been nothing but turd since it's gapped up on earnings. And look at this. It just barely, just lower lows, lower highs. Caterpillar, meow. Look at this, right? This doesn't hold. You got lower lows coming. That's all I can say. And how low? I mean, shit, 300 would be a nice little trade. Nucor, chopping at the 200-day. Letter X. X marks the spot. Chop, chop. Watch that as the range lows. VALE, we've talked about stuck in the mud. Don't really want to say much about it. Watch, just wait. Arrow. Remember how we talked about you got to break, breaking out in these 2-day candles? I don't like that. I do not like this gap down. I just don't. Keep an eye on it. And again, I'm not saying short it, but that's not what you want to see, right? Same thing with CCJ. I said, just watch these dojis. Something's not right. And if it should continue, if it doesn't, because again, think about it. You build all this pressure to break out, and then you don't. That could be a huge red flag. CF, hopefully it holds up for bulls. Chopping around. Mosaic, chopping around. NTR, chop around. Right. AA been holding up pretty darn well, right? Interesting gap down. XLF, we talked about this big engulfing bar, even though I guess define big. Keep an eye on it. It's holding the 8 and 10 day. That breaks, going back to the 20. Keep an eye on it. Because again, I think financials hold all the risk. JP Morgan, they're not buying back shares up here. Of course not. Why would you? Smart. Really smart. Watching that. Morgan Stanley Morgan breakout over 100, 95, 96. Wicks are forming. Somebody looks like they're distributing. We'll see if it follows through or not. Bank of America holding up pretty darn good. Goldman Sachs. Someone in the Discord room was talking about shorting it. Man, you've got multi-day range up here. You need to break the 8-day. I hope that helps. Carry, we talked about it being a trap. Chopping 20-day. I was looking at some of the other copper names. Look at Southern Copper. Look at this. Doof. Right? FCX. Whoosh. Big gap downs, right? Keep an eye on this stuff, y'all. They're not going to let commodities run until the Feds pivot. That's my opinion. Feds are not pivoted. XBI chopping around. This one looks like it could go either way. Just define your risk. TAN, nice rally. Right, finally. Got to wait for the pops. Again, there's clearly some news I didn't see, but keep an eye on these things. Sedge, ENPH, nice little bounce. Congrats. Chopping around. First Solar, this is why you are not all or nothing traders. Look at that. Holy shit. Saw this on the radar and I go, I don't know what's going on. But I'm not going to sit here and step in front of that. However, just keep an eye on this stuff. Big candles. Big moves sometimes can be tops and bottoms, right? HYG, corporate debt, you got to be crazy to be buying corporate debt. Oil, there's not much to say. Nice little pullback today, right? UNG holding up. We've said, again, love natural gas long term. Don't think there's much downside. XOP, we've talked about this leading up. Starting to look a little tired here. Keep an eye on it. CVE, love these names long term. Chopping around. Valero, gasoline names. We talked about the gas names leading. Nice pop after a big drop. That's all they got. It kind of looks like FedEx, where it and then gives it right back, right? ExxonMobil holding up, but damn, today's action not so strong. NPC, same kind of thing. Dang, nothing. Oxy, good old Buffett trade, just stuck in the ranges. EQT, stuck in the range. If you zoom out, right? Stuck in the range with you. Same thing with Flex LNG. Again, I think long term there will be tremendous buying opportunities in these names, but they're consolidating. All right, so if you have any questions, please reach out. Let me know how I can help. Hit me up if you have any needs in buy, sell, real estate. Let me help you out, whatever I can do. Be the ear to listen. If you have any questions about anything with the market, please, just leave a comment below. Hit me up. This is not easy. Again, there's red flags in the economy. It's an election year. Trust me, it feels like much more like 2008 than anything now that I'm starting to think about it. But I've been thinking about it, and guess what? You will be wrong in trading. Would I chase this up move? No. I'll let it pull back. There'll be pullbacks at some point. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Love you guys. Peace.